annual reorg meeting. We typically have those at the village hall, right?
We have, yeah.
And so I suggest we do that again. All right. And then our next regular board meeting will be the Wednesday after on the 10th of January. All right. Any questions or problems with that? Okay, then let's move along. As far as announcements, first I want to say that we got feedback from Dutchess County on their annual safety inspection of the village facilities. And I just want to say it was an excellent response. This is the lowest number of incidents we've ever seen since I've been here anyway. The number was 5. And it barely fit on 2 pages. So I want to thank all you guys for what you did to react to last year's findings and fix the things that they identified. So good job. The Parade of Lights, I think that went very well. The rain certainly put a damper on the size of the crowd and the number of floats. But I want to thank the sponsors, Central Press and John McDonald, who did the MC work. Central Press did all the publications and the posters. And also Bank of Millbrook and Rugies contributed towards the success of that. Angels of Light with their meet and greet Santa was a big hit again. And just the many volunteers. I want to thank all the organizations. The police did a nice job of traffic control. Thank you to the fire department for bringing extra people in. And then all the locals who just signed up and helped. Crowd control. The crowd was very behaved, I would say. The rain put a damp on the crowd, but I thought the participation by the crowd was very well received by those who had floats. I thought very well. Any questions or comments about the Parade of Lights? Yes.
I just wanted to say that I was one of the volunteers who got to go up and down and talk to the people who were in the floats, and we had literally complete cooperation among everyone in terms of candy not being thrown and endangering the children running out to get the candy, and they were very cooperative, and I thought did a wonderful job, and I think the candy elves were a big hit in terms of being able to give out candy for the kids.
There's a lot of candy, yeah.
But in a way that made sure we kept the kids safe. So I think from that aspect it was really successful.
Yeah, the cleanup the next day was much improved from years past, I gotta say.
Yeah, you're spending a lot less time with the broom and a scraper.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions?
Well done.
All right, thank you. Next thing is that the Angels of Light has a toy drive for hospitalized children. Lori Decker has identified 7 local hospitals that they're trying to collect from the village residents, dolls and trucks for kids, I think for younger kids, like between 2 and 11 years of age. They have collection boxes throughout the village. There's one actually in the village hall. And so if you're interested, please participate. You can go right over to Angels of Light, or you can find one of the boxes that are throughout the village to help that activity that Lori Decker is driving. And the last thing as far as announcements is that New Year's Eve in Millbrook is happening this year. The Rotary Club is sponsoring it and organizing it. We've got, I think there's a committee. Sarah, you're on the committee, right?
Somewhat.
Somewhat, okay.
Yes.
It's going to be on the 31st, of course, from 4 to 6 p.m. only. And it's going to be between Lyle and Grace Churches only. So the first renaissance of the New Year's Eve movement is going to be relatively small. Just those 2 locations. They've got a variety of things working on. It's mainly kid-oriented, I want to say.
Right.
Right? And it's between the 2 churches. And we have asked for the police to help make sure there's good safety for people crossing the street up there at the top of the hill.
If we could just get the highway guys to throw out the event ahead signs.
The event ahead signs is a good idea. Yeah. We've got
up
those.
on the backside. Bob knows where they go.
Yeah, let's do that. Good idea. All right, so we'll talk before the New Year's Eve, but that's happening this year. All right, let's go to administrative business. First off, Sarah sent out the minutes from last month. Any questions or comments about the minutes? Can I get a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Minutes are approved. Vouchers. A lot going on here. All right, so let's see here. So So unpaid, first off, on the right-hand side, paid vouchers, we paid the annual retirement payment on December 4th so we could get in before, for the discount. I think it's a 10% discount or something we get for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's worth going in early, so we did pay that early. So that's the voucher on the right-hand side. We also paid SunUp the $191,000. We did that last week, so we could actually submit to Dutchess County yesterday the work done to date to get them to reimburse us for, I think it's 90% or 80%, what is it?
It's 80% at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah, it's like, so the bill is like $213,000. We held back 10% because the job's not done, and they held back 20%. I think it's so we'll get back about $180,000 from this right here, $170,000 to $180,000 of what we paid. All right. So that's the paid vouchers, and the unpaid vouchers total of $210,000, including we had $5,300 at the bottom is the testing of the concrete that DOT required us to do. And each pour required about $650 worth of testing done. And so that's what you see there. All right. Any questions about the other vouchers? What's the water fund? Oh, okay, the water fund is the payment of the annual bond. We have the $500,000 10-year bond, and so that's the $50,000 plus interest is about $5,000, I think, for that bond payment. That's why the water fund number is so high. Any questions about the unpaid vouchers? The summaries are going around to the trustees for their signature beforehand. If not, can I get a motion to accept the vouchers?
I'll make that
Get
motion.
a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Before we get into the gym lease, next topic on the agenda is the town of Washington has a proposed hospitality overlay in which they have identified 3 parcels in the town, all outside of the village. One is the old Bangkok area. The second one is the Cottonwood Inn and some expansion of that area. And the third one is the strip of land along 343 going from the Bennett Light to the monument. Okay, and so the town has asked the village for a response of whether or not we have any issues with it. And Deputy Mayor, as well as Trustee Herzog, have identified an issue which I think is relevant, and I'd like one of you to just bring that to the table.
Well, we have a history there in terms of the fact that there was an extension to the village water system put in the late 80s, and it goes along Halcyon Road and then up into Maple Hill Drive, near where Greenbriers are in that part. And there were homes there that were hooked up already to village water, and
And sewer.
And there are places where there are vacant lots where the hookup was already attached to the lot, so that those places have been given the okay from us to be able to get village water and sewer as a residential area.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a question about that, last year, and that's how it was in a resolution. That's how it was adjudicated at this point.
We agreed that if there was a tap-in at the location, at the lots, then they had been pre-approved as available to hook into the village water and sewer system, and/or sewer system,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Tim, I think that's just sewer
Yes.
that you're talking about.
There's no,
There's no water on Halcyon.
Oh, there's not, no, that's right, there's just sewer line, okay,
No water
fine,
on
thank you.
Halcyon.
correct.
Thank you.
So the water that gets to Maple Hill Drive, how does that get there from
That
County
comes
House
from
Road?
County House Road,
Okay,
Maple Hill Drive water.
okay,
The apartment building that Jackie Montfort has just bought,
used to be the old NDP location.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was the old Bethesda Inn years ago. That has water, but it's fed from the back, coming from the monument side.
Okay,
And I think next door to them may have water also. Shall I say, the east side of Halcyon Road most of them have water, but that's from years and years ago, not 1980.
Okay,
That's when they put the 8-inch line down to the county home and infirmary was 1940.
all right, so the specific question is,
Yeah, sewer is
What-
new in the 80s.
where the old tennis court is the corner lot what we want to know about?
Yeah, that was considered connected when we went through all the.
Connected as sewer or what?
Just
and
sewer,
what?
that's
Just
sewer.
sewer,
Just sewer.
okay,
They have a well drilled there.
okay, fine.
Yeah.
All right, so Mike, go ahead.
Yeah,
Right now, as it stands, it's just sewer.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so I guess the question.
Right.
Yeah,
That's part of it.
That's
And so-
how it's been approved, because Lisa came in after we went through that, and that she was approved to, but the lot was then, I think,
It's
and
the
so.
only vacant lot there.
Okay, so what documentation do you have, Skip, that says it's approved only for residential hookup? Because that's our sticking point is, we don't want them to put a 20-room hotel there and be able to tap into the sewer system.
It was meant for,
Do you have any documentation? that
well, the
says-
zoning is 1 acre zoning. I believe the approvals were dependent upon, one home for 1 acre.
Yeah, I'm trying to find documentation
For
that says
zoning.
that.
In that book that I gave you
Yeah,
guys,
it's in there?
you'll find that. You'll
Okay,
find that somewhere, what it was approved for.
okay.
You'll see the Board of Health approvals showing for so many homes.
So, Mike, I looked, I couldn't find it. Could you go through the book again and just check?
I'll go through it
Okay, could
also if you want, and see what I can find for you.
I'd like to actually have
Thank
that
you.
documentation, because that is our concern, right?
And could we
Yes,
pass a new resolution
If we need to. I'd like to.
I'd just like to make it clear for future boards, I mean, what future boards do is up to them, obviously, but the point being that I think I'd like to, kind of just make it clear where we feel, village water has to stay as village water at this
Mhm.
point, and, that we don't want to have people saying, well, it's now spot zone to be able to have a hotel, so that means we can have village water, right? No, in village water, not village sewer, not necessarily, depends on the location, and it has to be for residential,
Mhm.
because that is gonna change the zoning after the fact, and you can't accept the same kind of
They'd
treatment.
have to come back for further approval from the village.
So to clarify, why don't we just put together a resolution for the next meeting that says that lot is approved for sewer hookup for residential only, and that it's not approved for water, regardless of
fine.
whether it's residential or commercial.
I think the key thing that I would like to see in that resolution says that it's for existing infrastructure. That would take care of what Mrs. Ferry has done previously in both areas.
Right.
Okay.
And at the same time, it would preclude anyone new being able to come in and saying, "Oh, we'll provide all the infrastructure." We're not even going to go there.
Okay. So this one is kind of sensitive. So in that case, Ian, can you draft a resolution for the January meeting that covers the issues we just discussed? In the meantime, I would like to see the documentation that says it is approved only for residential, just so we're clear. But I want the resolution to say that specifically also.
To say what?
That that one lot on the corner of Halcyon and 343 is approved for sewer hookup as if it's a residential use.
Look back into your minutes of your last November meeting, I think you spelled it out pretty well.
So we had a meeting with Bill. and
I
this
got
is-
copies of them.
Okay, now I looked at those, I could not see the distinction about residential.
It mentions it as the Evangelista lot
Yeah,
in the meeting minutes.
I want to see the words residential,
This memo says from Bill Bright,
okay?
me, Skip was there.
Yeah.
This is just minutes, I think, from a meeting, not like, this is just what I found quickly.
Yeah.
The resolutions allow for the connection of single-family residences.
Oh, good.
It's
Okay, I like
always
that.
a single family.
All right, good. All
More
right,
or less.
fine.
But let's confirm that
Yeah.
in the resolution.
But let's have the resolution just reinforce that.
I mean, nothing's to preclude, whoever owns that property or whatever, to come here and ask you guys if you wanna go
Sure.
for more, that's up to you
They're
and
wasting
them,
their time, but they can
but
come.
it's something new.
All right, so Ian, you okay? You're clear?
Yeah, so this property, was previously approved only for water usage?
No,
Just
no,
sewer?
sewer.
Okay.
Okay, fine, so yeah, we'll
only
come
for
back to you
one-
with specifics, all right, how's that?
Okay.
All right, good suggestion. Any other issue that you guys have got with this overlay proposal? I'm gonna draft a memo back to them specifying this is something we're gonna take care of.
I think those are the only issues that concern the village and the village board.
Mhm.
People have other personal opinions, that's certainly
No, okay,
possible,
I'm
but
talking
I
about
think
from the village
that's,
point of view.
I think that was it, yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody in the audience have a comment or concern? Okay, good, so we'll follow up on that. Next topic on the agenda is the gym lease contract. So the story, that little bit of a wrench in the works, we're supposed to approve a resolution to okay the lease of the gym to the town on an annual basis. We have a contract we provided to the town, but they come back and said that they don't want to pay for the entire year. That's what the contract basically said, is that they are then the leasee and they can sublease or whatever they want to do with it, with the conditions of, don't make a mess and stuff like that. And that the village would pay for the heating as well as the cleaning of the facility. And they come back with a couple of iterations of what they want to do to try to minimize the usage of it and of course minimize the cost. And we've said basically we're going to just turn it over to you, the bills to heat it and to for the lights and for the maintenance of it. And you can do with it what you want. And they've come back with some more fine-tooth resolutions. I'm to the point where if we don't come to an agreement, we'll just shut it down and turn the heat on, because that's really the only cost to the village. The major cost to the village is the heat of the facility. So they need it for their basketball program. They have other options they're pursuing, including the school. And they're supposed to be going to resolve this by tomorrow. Contract needs to be signed this month in order for them to continue to use it starting January 1st. And so it's the ball's in their court in terms of what they want to do. For the time being, the resolution we had to go through and pass tonight is not relevant because they want to revise the contract. All right. Any questions about that?
I'll just repeat what I told you, Tim. I think it's a gem to have a nice facility like that in the village for both village and town residents. I have fond memories of going there as a kid and doing all sorts of activities, and I hope that the town continues to come to an agreement here and that it will be a good use for residents and their kids especially.
Okay, I agree.
I'd like to not only second that opinion, but also like to see if the town would be amenable to trying to expand the activities beyond just basketball, because it provides a nice environment for adult activities, whether you're talking about cornhole tournaments at night, whether you're talking about different fitness exercises and someone using it for that kind of facility, that kind of vehicle. And there aren't, let's face it, you really don't have anything like that here, except for evenings, except commercial, people who are doing that as a business. So I think, I understand what their current program is, but I'd like to see if my personal wish would be that they would expand the program to make more use of the building and give the adult program more of a chance to be able to take hold of that.
But again, they have a rec department, rec director, we don't, and we're not going to get in the business of doing that.
Oh, no.
So it's on them, and they can. I agree, it's a gem of the village, but they've got to pay for it. Okay.
No argument there.
Okay. Anybody else have a comment, question? All right, let's move on. All right, Legislator House, anything update from the Dutchess County?
I would just say that after some months and weeks of hard work, we finally, on last Wednesday, passed the county budget, which was a heavy lift this time go around. I was able to offer 2 amendments that passed unanimously that both were amendments for veterans. One was for the county to develop a challenge coin for veterans. And the second amendment I was able to get through was for another micro-grant program for VFWs, American Legions, for veterans. So as a liaison to that committee, I was proud to bring it to the floor and have it passed unanimously. And that's really been the big lift out of the county the last few weeks. And then I would just like to say that I've gotten some great comments and accolades for the sidewalk project, and it looks great. And that company that you guys had do it was excellent. They were quick, they were clean, they were very, very polite to shop owners and our customers. So I thought that went off without a hitch, and it looks fantastic. So
Very
thank you.
good. All right, thank you. I appreciate the feedback.
Sun Up's a good outfit. Did a nice job.
That's what the radio said.
They've been around a long time.
Yeah. All right, good. Thanks. Any questions about your feedback? Comments? All right, thank you. Okay. Don, will you give us an update from the fire and rescue?
Nothing too major this month. Fire alarms, we had 9. EMS calls, 42. Carbon monoxide, 3. Vehicle fires, 1. Brush fire, 1. 1 structure fire, which was mutual aid to the Silo Ridge fire, which some of you may have heard about. But we were able to give them 2 apparatus and a bunch of guys to help out with that. And 2 gas alarms, total of 66 calls. Mutually given EMS 4 times, fire 3. Mutually received 0 across the board. Our 71 got out 6 times and took to the hospital 3 out of those times. Or 72, not 71. Drills this month, we're going to be doing 1 for firefighters down. We finished up our hazmat and carbon monoxide awareness training, and our last few members that needed the workplace and violence in the workplace and harassment training.
Very good.
That's it I have for calls.
The ambulance, so 3 times your volunteers went to the scene and transported to the hospital.
No, that's just our volunteer ambulance. It went 6 times to scenes,
Yeah,
and out of those 6 times, 3 times transported the patient.
they had to transport.
Our members responding to assist 79 was 34 times.
Oh, okay.
So out of the 42, 34 times our members were on hand, in the hand.
Mutual aid given any trend in terms of other municipalities that you're going to more often than none?
Not too much.
So not Unionville? Check it out.
I think 2 times. 2 out of those
Yeah.
4. But,
Okay,
and they were both second call in the districts for them.
okay.
It wasn't anything too crazy. From what I've heard, they are moving towards a 24/7
Yes,
policy.
they're trying to get to a contract, they're in trouble.
Yeah, I heard they've gotten very close to it, but it's not effective until January 1st.
Is that right? Okay,
That's
fine.
what I've been told.
Last time I talked to Betsy Moss, they hadn't closed yet because the price was so astronomical, they're not somewhere like.
Yeah,
Prove their
I think
position.
they got it narrowed down,
All right,
close to signing.
all right, good. All right, last month you identified 6 volunteers that joined the, or 7. It's 7?
Yep.
7 that joined the fire department. These are all fire?
Yep.
Okay.
1 is fire, or 2 of them are fire and EMS.
Okay. Anything you want to say to talk about these people, or I'd like to get a motion from to the board to accept them being part of the fire department. But anything else you want to say about them?
2 of them are past members that have made the decision to come back active
Oh, wow.
again. Both Hollingsworths, Dave and Shelley. Dave was past assistant chief and has come back, and Shelley was a past EMT and driver and has come back. And Andrew Murphy is a longtime firefighter from Pleasant Valley who has moved across the street
Pass it down.
and has decided to join us instead of trying to go back from the valley. But he's got 18 years experience in
Oh, nice.
Pleasant Valley. He knows a lot of us very well. We know
Oh, wow.
him. So
Alright.
he's a great addition as well.
Any questions from the board regarding the candidates, the members? Yes.
Yeah, on the mutual aid received,
Mhm.
did you say 0 in both cases? Did we ask for any and got confused?
Nope.
or-
No,
Okay.
we didn't have to call for it at all this month.
Got it. Okay.
Nothing. Every time fire got out for every call and there were no major EMS backlogs where we had to get an ambulance from anywhere else, or R72 or 79.
Thank you.
right, so I'm gonna make a motion that we approve these 7 individuals joining the volunteer fire department. Can I get a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Okay, great, thanks. Appreciate you doing this, Don, that was
Yep.
nice.
No problem.
Anything else from fire?
The new chief's car is gonna get picked up tomorrow evening.
Okay.
It's up at Rugi's, the lighting and lettering, we have to wait a little bit longer on, but we'll take delivery of the car just so it's not sitting in their lot, taking up space on their shoulders.
Yeah, sure.
We'll take care of that. Only other thing I have that's big right now, in the next year and a half, we're supposed to be replacing, our heavy rescue 4955. We just met with one of the sales reps that we've used for the past 3 apparatus. Went over some stuff with that, so he's gonna get back to us with some better numbers, but right now it's looking at to be between 900,000 and 1.1 million to replace that truck.
Whoa,
I've already started, looking to try to get some donations towards it. A couple of them are very promising for a very good chunk of the leftover money that the vehicle fund won't cover. But other than that, and what we have to talk about later, that's all I have.
okay. We're only like halfway there. I think we're,
After COVID, the prices and availability of fire trucks has exploded. The projected timeline from the date we order is 600 calendar days. 630.
6:30, 2 years.
Yeah, close to 2 years for production, between getting the cabin chassis built and then getting the cabin chassis to where the dealership puts the body on. And
Yeah, what's roughly the trading value of what you got now?
he hasn't given us anything yet. We're kind of, from what I've seen on some of the fire apparatus trading websites, I'd like to try to get about 50,000 for it. Is what they're going
Just
for.
50?
Yeah.
Wow,
The brand new truck costs a whole lot. Resale, just like a car, you drive it off the lot, takes a nosedive.
yeah, sure. How old is the one you got now?
19 right now.
19 years old?
Yep. And by the time we're done with this, it'll be closer to 21.
All
By
right,
the time we get the truck.
but you take such good care of your equipment. All right, so you gotta keep us posted as that comes to fruition.
Yep.
The old, Kevin's old truck, you're gonna auction that off, right?
Yep. We'll
Okay.
put that to auction. We'll probably use the company that we used to auction off the
Is that
second
AAU?
ambulance.
Is that the same guys we have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't Valley, okay, good.
Yeah, and if any kind of issue comes up with that, Tanner up at Rugi's offered to let us use his auction service, and he would set that up.
Oh, is that right?
if need
Okay.
be. But I'd like to save that as a last resort.
Oh, that's fine.
because-
Okay, any questions for Don?
Just one comment.
Yes.
Just wanted to let you know that a neighbor on my street met me while I was walking my dog and stopped me to say, please tell the fire department and EMS that we're really grateful. Apparently, one of the residents had an incident on Thanksgiving Day, and she said the response by EMS and by the fire department was really great.
Good, glad to hear it.
She
All right,
just
nice.
wanted to say thank you to
Good, thank you.
I wanted to say thank you, and was very impressed. They moved here like less than a year ago, so they were surprised and impressed.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Matt, any update from you?
I have nothing.
What about this grant we're going after to replace the HVAC system here?
That's on your hands. I
My
haven't,
hands. Well, that's what Genevieve submitted the grant, right? Mike?
Yeah, Jerry.
I haven't heard anything from,
I haven't either.
I got an email this afternoon that she got some questions back that specific as to the, I guess, in the grant, the grant was eligible for up to $100,000
Mhm.
towards what they would give us. And the cost estimate that we were given by RECOR, which included rebates back from the state for doing it, was about $149,000. And I think the people who are in charge of administrating the grant wanted to know specifically how are we going to come up with the other 40-something thousand or whatever.
Mhm.
And Genevieve wanted to, and I only got this late this afternoon.
Okay,
She wanted to try to have a meeting because we have to respond back with some kind of an answer about the application by the middle of next week.
okay,
But if they could give us anything
Sure.
from 10,000 to 100,000, but my view is if we could get an update on the system here, with the information I got from Matt was the burner that is here in the, on the second floor, I'll call it, right above the bay, was installed in 65, and the secondary burner was installed in 80. So if we could upgrade that before it fails, not that it's failing, now you guys take great care of the equipment, but it's 65 is a long time.
Mhm.
If we could get that and get a majority of the payment paid for by the state out of the grant, that would be a win. But I realize the town contributes a significant amount of
Sure.
any of that money, and that would have to be a discussion with them too.
well, is it fair for us to pursue the grant to find out how much we are eligible for, and then have a sit down and go in terms of how we fund this thing
Sure. Yeah.
with the town?
Because-
Okay, Matt, you okay with that? Okay,
And I
All right,
think,
so-
and the second question was, I think they had specific questions about what kind of an insulation blanket is in the building, because I guess they wanted to know how much of it is insulated, et cetera, that type of thing. And of course, I had no particulars to give them, but that's something that, I'm sure we could get through you, if you could take a look at that in the interim, that would be very helpful. That's it.
all right. Okay, let's move on. Please, so first off, police department, every 5 years, we recognize them with another stripe to the uniform. And Officer Witt has now passed 15 years, so I want to congratulate him. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
Now, we gotta have someone professionally put that on your, not just iron on, like,
No, we'll take them to the uniform place.
Good.
We have to find a new one because the one we were using, the proprietor is retired. So
oh, yeah, right, they closed the shop. Where's the nearest one now? So that one was in Poughkeepsie.
it was in Poughkeepsie. I think the next one's down. I think people that took over the business are operating out of Fishkill now.
Oh, okay.
So it's not too far,
That's not too
but
bad.
I like to, like make a trip of it, make sure we got enough to go on
Okay, sure.
to bother driving along.
All right, well, congratulations for 15 years.
Thank you.
All right, what's up?
In front of you see the report for November of this year. Wrote 9 parking tickets we had 10 parking complaints resulting in 9 tickets. Assisted the fire department twice, EMS 12 times, the school district twice, and we did the court detail twice. As for police activity, everybody seemed to really behave themselves in November, which is exciting for us. We had 1 reported larceny that was not a larceny, 2 criminal mischiefs. One was to the new sidewalk project that I discovered relatively quickly, and the mayor was able to come down and correct before it set permanently into the sidewalk. So, and public service, couple suspicious activities. We did 3 lockouts and 4 burglar alarms. We completed 39 foot patrols, 10 school checks, and assisted a citizen. Any questions on the actual numbers for the month?
I appreciate your continued focus on, parking and foot patrols. I think they're both, that's what I hear a lot from people too, so I think it goes a long way, so it's much appreciated.
In the next coming months here, we will make a concerted effort to get out with the snow ordinance. I know I'd seen an email from Bob that there was a number of vehicles out the other night, especially now that the times have been changed.
We moved the time, now it's
It's-
midnight.
It's a
6.
little bit easier for me to get night guys to either stay or come
Yeah,
back
okay.
in when it's not starting at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
For us to be able to come in and do the enforcement on that.
Okay.
Um,
So what's the deal? Seems like the first time we always put letters on the windshield. Have we done it already, or?
For what? Sometimes we put warnings
Usually the
on.
first time we'll put a letter on the windshield the first time.
Well, I go, sometimes when I come in early, I can spot who's out, and I'll throw a letter on the windshield.
Well, you got letters, okay, good.
But I haven't done that yet
Okay,
this
fine.
year.
Um,
Give them a little leeway.
All right.
And just another follow-up that has been a reoccurring theme here. I know that the town had sent out a number of letters to follow up with a bunch of old parking tickets, and they said they got a great response from that. So we should see some results from that.
Yeah, good. I asked them for an accounting of each of the parking tickets, and they, as part of the I guess a handoff from one person to another, and the training effort, they found a desk full or something like that.
Yeah,
Parking
and
tickets.
they turned around and put out some strongly worded letters to the recipients of those, and from what I
That's good.
understand, they got a good response.
I talked to Gary, and we're gonna have a meeting in January to talk about the court and just the operation of the ticket. Once you're there. But I do an officer with as well. If I suppose
Absolutely.
when that happens, I'll make sure that we do have it, make it happen.
Absolutely. So there's that. Just side note, the parade of lights went well. I know that'll be a next month's report, but it went well. It was an uneventful event.
That's
which
kind.
we like. You'd asked me to touch on Officer Lyman and Cole Hain.
Mhm.
Will be attending Academy in January. Officer Cole Hain to get his conversion from a federal certification to a New York State, and Officer Lyman to get a refresher on a couple of the updates that he had since he last went to Academy.
All right, so that's all officially done?
The stuff for Officer Lyman's still in the works, but we'll have it completed. Officer Cole Hain is all set to
Okay.
start, I believe, on the 6th. Just
And Lyman, he has, you said 4 areas he's gotta cover?
yeah, I
It's a
believe.
subset of the academy.
What's that?
It's a subset of the 4.
Yeah, and any of the other things that there's 5 or 6 areas he can test right out of that he's is confident and up to date on, and there's a couple that are required for him to take, and then there's a couple that he's interested in refreshing himself on.
Okay.
So, the mayor and Trustee Contino and I have been working on this Lexipol the past month and a half, really.
Mhm.
And we meet once a week with the Lexipol people, and we're plugging right along through the update of the policies. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. What did we have? 16 done?
Yeah, he says we're more than halfway through, so.
More than halfway through.
No, halfway through the core.
Tier 1.
The tier
Yeah.
1. right.
So
Which
it's
is the
broken.
focus.
It's broken down into 4
Yeah.
tiers.
Right.
Tier 1 is the high ticket, high liability policies that he wants to get through those first. We're halfway through that section. Then from there you go down to the most discretionary policies, and those will be done last. But we made a good progress the past couple of meetings. I think we're 16, 17
Yeah,
policies.
my county is 17 out of 31 and identified as tier 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, just over halfway.
Additionally, I received our certification of compliance with the Professional Policing Act of 2021. We're certified for another 7 years. That's just documentation required from the state about how we do things, who's on the books, who works here, who doesn't work here, and things like that. I've been working on that for the past couple of weeks. In that process, I have found some things that the previous administration didn't do and need to be done, and I'm working with DCJS to get those things done and updated to where they should have been before my tenure.
And this certification is good for 7 years, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't bring it with me. I have it printed out on the desk. I believe it was 7 years.
Okay.
And last thing I have is we have put up the speed sign up on 9 Partners Lane. I didn't provide the report yet because we usually like to wait till it has a full run of the battery to get a better, to get the highest numbers. It does appear that we do have a speeding issue out on 9 Partners Lane, and we'll seek to address that in the next coming weeks or so. I mean, we have about half compliance, but that means half are not. So even just the presence out there could just cause people to slow down and be more careful.
Mm-hmm. I'm really worried we're going to talk about reducing the speed limit in the village to 25. The speed limit there now is 30.
It's 30, yeah.
And coming down, we're talking about coming down the hill.
Correct.
So, yeah, you're going to need to do some extra monitoring there and some traps.
But even, I mean, looking at the numbers here, although I guess it's a 30. So we get 81 out of 4,600 cars are doing 50 or better. So I mean, it's not a huge number, but it is happening out there, and it does happen very easily with the topography of that road.
Yeah, we got to slow that down.
No pedestrians there. It's much less frequently traveled.
There are some
so it's
pedestrians.
a different,
Yeah, it's not
a
the
different
village.
beast
Yeah.
over there.
I had expressed this to the mayor. I'm also not confident in the numbers that are on this, just how the sign is positioned. It picks up the vehicle coming down the hill, and then it loses contact for a bit and then comes up again. So we could have some double numbers on here.
Yeah, but I know, I myself, my double number, the one I know of, the first reading is no good. The
Right.
second reading was real good.
Right.
Because I saw the sign, yeah. It doesn't lie my sight, so I was surprised how far away I was and it picked up my speed.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the record, yes. Luckily, no police were there, so I can say that.
We have a year to issue that ticket. What do you need? I believe that's all I have on.
Let's talk about the $10,000 grant we got from D. Barrett's office for policing. So this is something was proposed to us about a year ago. This is when Trustee Cantino was deputy mayor. We discussed what we might do with it, but then it kind of fell off to the side, and now they've come forward and actually announced and delivered the $10,000 award to us. And it's for police related things. So my question to you is, what are your recommendations to the board of things that we should be considering using this $10,000?
Briefly looking at it, I believe that one of the main goals was to basically fund a program that we don't have currently.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something we do need to discuss and figure out. I know it can also be used for personnel. It can be used for. It can't be used for a police car. There's a list of requirements on there.
How about equipment?
I believe equipment is.
Yeah, okay.
Essentially, it's they're trying to fund something that we don't already have. So if it's
Okay.
equipment we need, I believe that falls under that.
So Trustee Cantino, you worked with Matt Colhane, I think, to make a submission.
Yes.
I think it was to the county.
Yes.
What were the things that were being requested there?
Soft and hard armor,
Yeah,
shields.
helmets. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't remember if there's restrictions on firearms on that or not.
All right, so I'll tell you, this is kind of hot off the press this week. So can you go back and meet with the police and discuss what you think it'll be used for?
Yeah, I believe that the grant we applied for was only around 26, right? So I mean, we could, if we're able to use it for the same thing, we could get at least, and that was to looking for 2 full sets of things. We should be able to get away with 1 full set at the very least for a response.
Okay. I do want to, I was asked, had a couple suggestions, but it has to be for something we haven't already bought. So we bought something already, we can't go and.
That was my understanding of
Yeah.
reading it over, but we can take
No,
a
I'm pretty sure that's a pretty standard thing, yeah.
Um,
All right, so if you'll huddle with your folks, make a recommendation to the board, how you want that money to be spent. And let's say that for next meeting,
okay.
all right? Any questions or other comments for the police? Anybody in the audience have a comment? Okay, thanks, let's move on.
Do you need me for any more of the evening?
I'd like you to be here for the 25-mile speed limit.
No problem.
All right, Kenny, thanks. Okay, Bob?
Yeah, highlights basically that leaf pickup has ended on November 30th. Snow ordinance is now in effect. We have, all the trucks have been converted into the winter mode with the sanders, and all equipment is ready to go. For anyone who doesn't know, Matt Hurst is no longer plowing the sidewalks. He's retired from that job, and we've put on a much younger version. It wasn't easy to find somebody, but we have a fellow who's actually in the fire department now. Jay Higgins is going to be doing it for us. Of course, nobody could do what Matt did, so but I think he'll do a great job.
So you had him do a walkthrough with Matt,
Yeah,
right?
he's going to do another one this coming week.
Good. I would like you to find excuses to get Jay engaged with you guys. It was easy with Matt because he was right there. We were always crossing paths. I just don't want him to get lost and distracted or whatever.
No,
I've just figure out excuses to
You know,
bring him in.
like I said, I've got him coming in for a couple hours next week to just run the route.
Good.
You know, find out where all the hazards and pitfalls and things like that are.
All right.
Also have to show him that the new sidewalk isn't going to be
Salted.
or
Right.
brined or whatever you want to call it. The tennis courts are officially locked.
So anyone inside should be.
They're inside. Yeah, there are a couple people still in there.
What? But you locked them in?
Yeah. Yeah, they're officially locked, and
Okay.
figured once the snow fell, probably would be a good
No,
idea.
probably not. Here.
No, there are people trying to walk up to it, trying to get in.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What about the leaves inside there?
They're on.
Right on? Okay, good, thank you.
That's all set.
Good. All right.
The nets are in Village Hall in the rec area down there.
All right, good.
And that's pretty much it for the turnover. I mean, the last month and a half, 2 months, we've been just picking up leaves.
All right, fine. Now, your chart says no parking on the street between 1 and, it's called midnight to 6 now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Everyone's together on that. And I've had requests again, I get every year for exceptions to be able to park on the street, and we just can't give exceptions.
No, that's not fair to everyone else.
Yeah, because if I give an exception for that, then before you know it, it doesn't have, and you just still have the ordinance.
It's not, you know, people don't realize that it's a hazard for their car also.
Right. And it's not just snow, it's also when you're out there with the salt trucks to
Oh, yeah,
the black
absolutely.
ice.
We do have a couple of issues with homeowners again, with their sump pumps running into the street and freezing. You know, we can't be out there every single day salting. It's just you know, the trucks
Yeah, sure.
can't fill them.
So it's unsafe for them to do that. Do you need to put notices or?
Well, we've talked to a couple people.
Uh-huh.
One guy got back to me, said is there any ordinance against it? So already he, you know,
There's a state law about it.
yeah.
Okay,
So we can go back with that. But there were a few that's been years and they just refuse. And
all right, so,
some of them are crossing other people's driveways,
that's
and that's the real problem.
sure. All right, so we did one last year where on Linden Lane, that the guy, we had sent notice to him, but he didn't fix it.
Oh, yeah, no,
So
he
we should do
did.
the same thing. So if you've got the list of people who are doing that, you gotta let me know, we gotta send them a letter.
Yeah, there are two on Haight,
All right, fine, so just give me a list.
couple.
Stop by and give me a list of who they are, we'll send them notice.
I spoke to one of the gentlemen already in person, and he seemed amenable to come up with a solution. I tried to impress upon him. I said the best amenable solution for most homeowners is a dry well, but that's going to require a certain amount of excavation and.
It's going to require a hole.
Yeah, but I'm
You know,
saying,
with some small stone in it, just so it drains.
Right, and I
No.
said if you wait on this until January, you're not gonna be able to dig all.
Sure.
So, try to take care of it. He said he would be amenable to try to get it done.
All right, I think we need to send these through official notices. So give me a list.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not fair to other taxpayers.
No, right.
Paying for
Well,
salt
it's
for-
a safety issue. You know, that's what I'll start at. So,
Well, there's one that crosses in front of a guy's house he's complained already.
oh,
'Cause
okay.
It's in his driveway.
I don't
And
blame
the
you.
other one crosses the street and goes into somebody's yard.
All right.
Um,
Okay, so give me a list and we'll send out
They,
notices.
if they just hug the area would be
Okay.
fine, but
All right, any questions for Bob or comments?
I do. Merritt Avenue, the DMDN, I believe we removed the time limit parking down there, so those signs have to come down.
across from,
Yeah, there's like 1 hour parking signs
Oh.
down at that end.
Okay,
I think they just missed the list to be removed.
all right, good.
Catch.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
Yep.
Okay, Scott.
All right, November, all maintenance and sampling for the water we're doing. Installed a new curb valve at 6 Merritt Avenue. Repaired a broken curb valve at Greenbrier, and we shut the building off. We had a health department inspection, everything went well, and we fixed 3 more water meters. The water meters are being read currently.
All right, good. How many outstanding water meter issues do you have?
I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know.
Okay, is it less than 10 or is it more?
It's probably around 10.
Around 10, okay. All right. Questions about water? All right, let's talk about Greenbrier. So the story with Greenbrier is we've got this, they were shut down, they closed up, and they left us with a $9,700 bill. Actually, it's water and sewer, I guess. And so the problem is that because they're outside the village, this is true with all those residents who are outside the village, if they don't pay their bill, let me turn the other way. If you're in the village and you don't pay your bill, we levy your taxes. And then if you don't pay that, then we turn it over to the county and they make good to us, and then they pursue our restitution through the court system. All right. If you're outside the village and you don't pay your taxes, we don't have the ability. Okay. And so typically what we do is, we beg and call or whatever, and we'll get a payment plan. And with Greenbrier, it was chronic. And that was what we would do. We'd get a payment plan, they'd make the first payment, and then they'd go delinquent. Well, so when they finally closed up, we ended up with $9,700 that is owed to the village for water and sewer services that they never paid for. So I asked Ian what options we had, because what Dawn said at VRI is that they'll put a lien on the property for when it's sold. It's a condition for the sales that the new owner has to make good on the outstanding amount due. So Ian came back and said there's other things we can do. Go ahead.
Well, the first question I had is, what does the agreement? There should be an agreement either between the village and the property owner, or village and the water district.
There's no water
We don't have a
district.
water
No water district.
No.
Then an agreement between the village and the property owner. Is there any agreement written?
There was a contract that was signed back in when they were given water, or when they were given sewer.
When they were each individual?
Yeah.
There was.
Well, we negotiated a contract, but that had more to do with what kind of fees they were gonna pay at the time to,
Well, that'd be right down the alley of what we would do if they didn't pay. So you're saying with each individual homeowner, we have a contract?
No, I'm saying with Greenbrier,
Oh, with Greenbrier.
yes, but then it wasn't, they
Okay.
were on there for water almost for very, very long time.
Mhm.
But they petitioned to have us install sewer.
When the septic
Yeah,
system
they,
failed.
The septic
they
system
have
went.
2 services for each. So they have 2 water services and 2 sewer services. Prior to, I forgot what year that was.
Okay,
What Mike's talking about, prior to that, they only had 1 sewer service, and they had, their other was out into a septic and leach field.
oh, is that right?
Their leach field failed, and they came to us to get on the sewer system.
For their second system?
Correct. And
So they always had
in fact,
water?
The health department came to us too, because I guess there was
Sure.
issues with not being able to get the proper size and all this
Mhm.
stuff. And that's when this agreement took place, and they made, I forgot what the payments were, but
They paid $60,000 to be able to hook up. It was paid over 3 or 4
I
years.
think it was, yeah, I think 3 or 4 years, yeah.
That's $15,000 a year for 4 years. That's how it went.
But as far as the water, but that was just for that one particular.
I didn't realize that.
But I would just want to see that agreement, maybe there was something in there
Okay, fine,
about
let's start there.
enforcement. The other would be to sue them, bring an action against them in, you're above the monetary limit for small claims court. You could bring it in city court, either city of Beacon or city of Poughkeepsie. That monetary limit's 15,000, and you get a judgment against them, and then you file the judgment with the county, and that gives you a lien. That's the only way that I know of that you would be able to obtain a lien on the property that's outside of the village. I'd have to look into, maybe I'm missing something that person mentioned. But
Okay, so it takes a court action to put a lien on the property.
yeah.
Okay. The lien, though, only becomes effective if it's sold?
Well, I guess practically speaking, the lien is enforceable like any other.
But only if they sell the property?
No, I mean, you could try to foreclose on the lien if you wanted to. Force that, again, you'd have to.
They're just
Take
sitting
them
on the
to
property,
court.
it's gonna be harder to get the money.
If they're what?
They're just sitting
They're
on it.
sitting on, they're not doing anything? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's possible, it's just gonna be a lengthier.
Okay.
Yeah, for $9,700, it's an expensive process to go through, but you'd have to bring a foreclosure
Mhm.
action against them, and that would be in Supreme Court. And well, ultimately, it would be the court ordering sale of the property at auction, and then you take your money from proceeds of sale.
Okay, what about this idea of a collection attorney?
We could get you a referral. We don't generally do that, but there are attorneys that do collection work for, based on a contingency.
Mhm.
Whether they would be interested in this or not, I don't know, but that was the other
You heard about that?
thing I thought of.
Like the 30% probably.
Okay, 30%?
Yeah, I honestly don't know what they take a percentage of what they recover, and I could get you names of attorneys to.
Okay, let's first start with the contract. So I'll go
Okay.
dig it out. Probably have somewhere. It's rebar that allowed them to hook into our septic, allowed them to hook into their second system. And we'll start there and see what that says.
What about a long-term solution to this issue? Is the long-term solution in forming a sewer district or a joint water sewer district?
You have no authority to form a water or sewer district. You're the village. It would be up to the town to do that. And
How do these other municipalities get paid if somebody's outside of the jurisdiction and they don't pay their bill? and they don't, and the county's not gonna reimburse them, so what do
Yeah,
they
again,
do?
usually there's an agreement, and it would be, you know, they, in most cases, are probably in the same position that you are in. Maybe the agreement provides some enforcement mechanism that's easier than going to court, but
Can we adopt that?
I mean, you're not required to provide water or sewer service to anybody outside the village.
Mhm.
So if they're not paying, you can
Turn it off, sure.
turn it off.
Right,
We've done that.
yeah.
So with Greenbrier, I mean, they're out, right? They're not.
Yeah, there's,
Are they bankrupt, the company, or not?
I have no idea.
I know there's a Greenbrier in Connecticut. Is that
I'm sure
right?
she's not personally bankrupt.
Okay, the owner,
Yeah.
all right.
So I assume they're not using water other than.
They can't now.
Well, no, they shut off here. The
Oh, you
place is
have
shut
shut
down,
off,
there's no way
okay.
there.
But there's
So-
there's nobody in there.
Yeah. So going forward, there's not going to be additional fees incurred. You're talking about just collecting on the past debt.
Mhm.
So that's, you know, the extent of my knowledge of how to collect. It's generally you go to court and try to get a judgment against.
All right, let's start with the contract. I think maybe I should make a phone call to whoever this person is, find out where he or she is as far as accepting the debt.
Look,
Well, it's worth a call. And then we'll decide to go from there. I just don't like the idea of waiting until they sell it, because they could remember, they're gonna sell it.
The advantage, the other situations that I've dealt with this where, you know, village is providing water or sewer service outside of the village limits. Usually there is, in the town, there is a water or sewer district. And there's an agreement between village and district, and then you can put in there that, you know, enforcement mechanisms so that, you know, the contract is with the district, which theoretically should have,
The only enforcement mechanism I can think of is the requirement to prepay. You know, that you have to prepay a year,
Yeah.
and then you get a year to pay your bill, and if you don't pay it, we shut you off. Although for sewer,
yeah.
sewer's got me hung tight. I don't know, okay. Let's start with the contract and see what's in there. I do want to call the owner and just see what's going on in that end.
and we're definitely sure the county doesn't reimburse.
No, because we can't levy the tax, on their taxes. And can we get the town to levy their taxes?
Well, again, that would be, the town doesn't have the authority to
Yeah, okay.
do that unless there was a district. So maybe if there was a district. But right now, it's just, from what you're telling me, you just have a contractual relationship with the property owner.
Mhm.
And so the
Well,
town
probably with the
is-
company that's probably bankrupt.
Yeah, well, in this
Depending on
case,
the
yeah.
All right, fine, let's move on. We'll look at this offline. Okay, sewer?
All right, for November, all maintenance and sampling was done. We had a DEC inspection, and that went well.
Mhm.
Earth Care hauled the dry sludge, and we did our sewer main inspections, and currently our equipment's in need of repairs and replacement. But at this point going forward, I can't do any more.
Is that right?
Is that the camera system, is that?
It's the what?
The camera system,
Oh,
Which had a 10-year shelf life.
and we're at 10 years.
Surprising.
oh, is that right?
Yes.
That's convenient. What's that cost? We had a grant last time when we got that, right?
Yeah, preliminarily, I'm over 50,000 at the moment,
50,000?
but I just started looking into it.
Hmm.
The company that we have, the equipment we have, they don't supply a camera anymore. They don't supply the PCUs, basically the brains.
Hmm. The CPU and the,
Yeah.
okay,
They can
electronics.
repair the stuff, they said, but they only have limited parts. You know, so it's like, at this point, it's like you can repair it, and we're usually gonna get out of it.
Mhm.
You know, they basically told me, because I kept asking them all these questions, I'm like, before I'd start spending money on fixing things, because I gotta send it to Wisconsin to get it fixed. You know, and they basically said after multiple emails that you might be better off looking elsewhere.
Okay,
You know, when they said they don't supply a camera, I said, okay, well, where do I go to get one that fits your equipment? Well, you could use this one and this one, but you have to have it set up for it. And if yours isn't set up for it, then so I'm like, well, we didn't because we didn't set it up for it 10 years ago. So then, in other words, the equipment we had wouldn't be set up to use somebody else's camera.
mhm.
So,
So let's go back to the idea of getting a grant for a new one. So who was the orchestrator for that? Excellent. This was 10 years ago?
This was in 13, yes.
All right.
And
Exactly
and
10
we
years
got that grant from the county. It was
Okay.
when they just started the MIG program.
The what?
The MIG program.
Oh, Mig, okay.
Yeah, and we were one of the first recipients to get it, and that's how we requested.
So MIG is always, they have like a theme, like a topic of what's eligible?
At
Every
the time I applied, there wasn't,
No.
okay? What they were looking at the time for were ways to be able to reduce expenditures by having municipalities work together
Uh-huh.
to be able to solve problems. And since we have town residents, some town residents on the system, then the town of Washington and us went in together
Oh,
to put the
okay.
grant in together, and that's how we qualified. We were working with another municipality to solve a mutual problem. The county has since now refined it so their MIG grants are usually a lot more focused on different areas that they want, whether it's parks and recreation, whether it's police, fire department, whatever. That's been recent, but you know, they've been very generous with the money. I mean, we've benefited from them on two previous.
We got a lot of use out of the camera, right? That was quite viable.
When you look and when you think about it, we were spending correct me if I'm wrong, we were spending between $8,000 and $15,000 a year just doing the requirements for the speedies permit by having to have an outside consultant come in and.
right, well, I'm working on putting numbers together. I was gonna deal with that budget time, but
Okay,
because, you know, whether you go, you know, if you go for a grant or not, you're still required to do this camera work every year, so, you know, we're waiting around seeing if we get something, and it comes to November, then we're scrambling, right? So,
I thought the requirement to get to the camera a certain amount of feet per year was a function of getting the camera, the grant.
no, that's in the DEC permit.
Is that right?
Yes.
Specified in
Wow.
the permit.
Okay.
So,
Huh.
regardless of whether we have a camera or not, we have to do it.
We have to do it. That's why we did the grant in the first place, because it was something we'd be saving money every year, because every year we had a camera and used VRI as our facilitator, we were gonna be saving money.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, again, I've just been working on getting numbers,
Okay, fine.
which is, maybe I was gonna deal with more at budget time, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because if we have to budget for it, even if we're a long term, you know, or
Yeah.
budget for an outside contractor to do it, or however we want to go about it. I didn't think right now would be the time for, it's going to be a lengthy discussion.
Yeah, fine. All right, so that'll come into the budget.
Yeah, I mean, by then I should have a whole bunch of numbers for you, we can sit down and talk about
Okay,
it.
fine. And the vendors, there are vendors that can do this service?
Do the, yeah, Arrow being one, yeah.
Is that right? Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
I've already reached out to them.
All
So
right.
we can lease
No.
temporarily
No, see,
and then still.
The way it would be done is I would, if we go that route, say, for argument's sake, we hire Arrow to do it, right? They'll come in, they'll do the flushing, which we do separately, and they'll do the camera work all together. That's usually, the reason why we do the flushing is twofold. We get the lines clean, and we clean them to camera, because it's a lot harder when you don't clean them to inspect them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see things as clearly, and then also the camera itself and the tractor that drives up there gets stuck on things, stuck in the line.
Yeah, sure.
So it's a twofold process that we flush for. So they do it both all together. That's how they always do it. All companies that have been used.
But there still would be a need long term to have
Yeah, I
our
mean,
own
you could
cameras.
continue, like for years, that's what we always did. We hired someone else to do it.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
We've been probably going back to 2009. And, we've done this. The permit started in 2009, so.
Okay, I didn't realize it was linked to the permit. That's,
Yep.
all right, that's good to know.
20% a year.
How much?
20%.
20%? Okay. Anything else from you, Scott?
No.
So, the sewer pump, South Millbrook. So that project is going on. We're hoping that we can have some installation starting early next year, right?
That's the hope.
Okay. We have gotten approval from the state for $250,000 towards that estimated cost of $325,000 to $350,000. That's when Dee Dee Barrett and Michelle Hitchie combined together to get us $125,000 each, so it's a $250,000 grant. $125,000 from Dee Dee Barrett's office, $125,000 from Michelle Hitchie's office. They're going to have a formal announcement in January, but they said I've got the wherewithal to actually announce it, and we're going to start using it to pay some of the bills we've got coming in. So that's good news as far as grant money. It won't cover the whole thing. What we'll do is we took out a band for $325,000, right? And so we'll use that money to pay the dues, use the grant money to reimburse those expenditures, and what's ever left over, which is in the range of $75,000 to $100,000, we'll roll that band over into a bond. Okay, probably at the budget meeting. That'll be under the sewer category. So that's good news about having that mostly paid for with that grant. The other thing, we just got news from EFC that we've been approved for a $1.8 million grant, a WIA grant, towards the upgrade of the wastewater treatment plant. Now, we put forward a request for funding to cover an estimated $7.35 million cost to do the full upgrade. This is covering 25% of that. And according to Delaware, it also comes with a 0% 30-year interest-free loan, okay, which is a big help as well. I haven't seen that documentation yet. I've asked to see that just for proof. That's from CWSRF, is where we get the 0% 30-year loan. And so what I've asked Delaware is to come forward with a proposal for us, a phase 1, phase 2. What can we get done for half of it, 3.75 million, whatever that is, to start? And again, the state would reimburse 25% of the 3.75 million, and we look to fund through bond the remaining amount. And then what would phase 2 look like? So a stage kind of procedure. In the meantime, they are going to resubmit a request for a WQIP grant that should help on the back end with some of the funding as well. So we're waiting for Delaware to come forward, hopefully this month, if not early January, with a proposal for what they could do to start the upgrade of the wastewater treatment plant. And I'll need you to be actively involved in that, because I want you to help prioritize where should we be starting to spend the money. Now, once they present to the board what their phase 1 recommendations are, we've got to go back and talk finances, okay? Because it's going to require an increase in the water sewer bill that people pay, specifically the sewer portion of the water sewer bill. And right now, that's all up in the air, but we'll figure those numbers out and come forward to the public with a full, here's what we're going to get, here's what's going to cost us. All right? Any questions about that?
Yay.
Yeah, it's a start.
Well, 25% of $735,000 is a hell of a start. That's
Yeah.
great.
Right. Yeah, $1.8 million it turns out to be. All right, next topic though is I need to go over an issue I've got to address with the board. I've been saying for the last few months that the water and sewer revenues for this fiscal year are looking to be short. And Sarah and Karen did a detailed analysis and came back and said, yes, it's in the range of $60,000 short for water revenue and $40,000 short for sewer is the expectation by fiscal year end, which is the end of May. And there's two major reasons why. The first is that the weather we had throughout this year has reduced the water demand by residents. And since our sewer rates are tied to water use, both water and sewer underperform versus the budget. And the second issue we've got is that the bans we have for the remaining borrowing we did for the water filtration upgrade, those bans increase. Every year we have to roll those bans over, and the bank reassesses the interest rate on an annual basis. And because interest rates have been going up nationwide, there's an additional $16,000 of unplanned water expenses to refresh the bans. So the first thing I did was I met with Scott, and he identified areas in both the water and sewer budget that he could defer work to next year, or in some cases where he actually was able to underspend things that you did with AWOL as far as the relining the sewer. And he came back with the ability to commit a reduction in expenses for $22,000 for the water, $24,000 for sewer expenses. And then Sarah and Karen went through the funding and found that there was $9,500 of re-levied funds that could come back into this fiscal year for both each of water and sewer, and that they estimated an additional $5,000 interest from the New York class funds for the ban we put into New York class for the sewer pump station. So the net of all those actions is that we've got a plan to close the revenues for the sewer to meet expenses by year end. We still end up with a gap of about $30,000 shortfall with water revenue. And so what I'm recommending to the board is that starting with the January billing cycle, we institute something new, which is a $20 per meter addition to the quarterly bill. So every user, regardless of usage, would see a $20 water meter bill added to their bill. And the reason why this is because that action would close the gap for the current fiscal year. And this idea of a fixed minimum charge is consistent with what many municipalities are doing throughout the county, not the state, according to Delaware. And it's also consistent with what we do in the sewer fund, which is we have a special benefit assessment that we apply that goes to all sewer users and it's independent of usage. And the third reason why I think this is important to take this step now is because we need to start building a fund balance in water, because in a few years, those bans of $550,000 and $200,000 are going to get converted from bans to bonds. And so we need to start building some fund balance in the water project to handle that. So what I'm proposing is present that today to the board and the public, take comments or feedback, and then bring a resolution, let it sit for a month with the public, and bring a resolution to the board in January. Actually, for approval of that. So first, any questions or comments from the board members?
For your third rationale.
Yes.
Hard to say, obviously, multiple years in the future, but will this be enough to help build on the fund balance?
It will help a lot. I can't say that it'll cover the whole thing.
Right.
You also saw this week that the interest rates are starting to trend down. I expect to drop 0.75 of a point next year, which is going to help. So that's to the good. And so the future is unknown. Yeah. And by the way, if we had the wherewithal to convert those bans to bonds, we would have done it years ago. We can't afford it. And even right now, we can't afford it now, especially. So we still have to put up with, for the next few years, rolling those bans over every year. All right?
I guess, is this enough of an increase? I don't like any increase, believe me, but as opposed to having to do another one, you know, in, I don't know, whatever, next year.
I can't commit that it's enough. I'm hoping it is. I'm actually hoping that it's overage, that we start accumulating the fund balance.
Okay.
But we'll know in 6 months.
Yeah.
We'll know in 6 months. Other questions, comments?
My feeling about this is that I think this is the $20 meter surcharge is a way to do a temporary fix, but we're going to have to obviously we go into budget, which we will start doing in February and right on through. Look a little more long term, and then think about a rate increase that would reflect not having this problem next year, which is not going to be a small increase. It won't be like 1% or 2%. It might be higher. But if we have to be able to do that, I think the time to do it's going to be at budget time when we would then enforce it in June, and it will give us more time to be able to accumulate more actual numbers in terms of water used, sewer and everything else, and look at different alternatives on a long range basis.
Okay. Why I'm proposing this as opposed to just a rate increase is because, first off, the village used to have a fixed fee for usage.
How much was that again?
Back in the 1950s, it was about 56 cents. I don't know. Is that right?
It's pretty low, yeah.
But that was a lot then. All right. And that other municipalities are doing the same thing. Actually, compared to others, this is like a token of the amount of fees that they're charging, independent of usage.
Yeah.
And that's why my mind, Mike, would be there. I'd like to be the people push it to you.
It may end up being that,
Yeah.
but I think
We will look at it at budget time.
I think it's a good start. I'm in total agreement about the $20 meter surcharge at this point. If it goes from a meter surcharge to an annual charge, then it does. But it'll help us. It'll help us do more long range planning as best as we can. A budget is a plan. It's not anything that's absolutely rock solid. So you have to be able to take.
It's also hard to plan for as much rain as we had this summer. It was a lot.
Yeah, it was an exception.
You can't make it. Yeah.
On the other hand, the previous summer, it was exceptionally dry.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So that may have caught us off guard too. Trustee Contino, comments, questions?
No comments.
Okay. Anyone in the audience have a comment? And again, we're going to sit on this for a month. I'll put in a newsletter. We'll seek feedback from the public before we bring it to the board in January. I don't like to bring things up and vote on them right away. Let's let it sit for a month. Comments? All right. So that's the proposal. We'll solicit feedback from the public and we'll bring a resolution into the general meeting. Okay, next, Sarah.
Yes. All right. So for building department, it was actually a very, very busy month. We had 15 building permits, a certificate of occupancy, a certificate of compliance, and 5 municipal searches. Total fees collected was $2,530, which is way above average. I have also, I've been working on the fee schedule that I'm going to bring to you guys. Well, you guys have already had, but to approve at the reorg meeting. So I did a little spreadsheet here of like what we charge now and what the proposed fees would be if we had those in place. So I just sampled, a few building permits. And like I said to you guys, I sent you guys comparable fees from other municipalities and how it operates for them. So
yeah, including the town of Washington, which just updated their fees a few months ago. So
right.
That was good.
Yeah.
The other thing to note is that you've included now in the fees the full cost.
Correct.
Of the fees, right? Because the prior way we had a fee for the initial permit and there was a fee for the inspections. Is that different from the final CO?
So Ken never actually charged for the inspection portion of that,
Okay.
even though he did them. So, again, keeping in line with all the other municipalities,
Yeah.
I basically just built in what would be
Good.
inspection.
Because we should be charging for that, and we should charge for the final CO as well.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So that's part of why you can see the difference in the fees. Any questions about the proposal here? Okay. All right.
So as far as planning and zoning, I believe they are going to have. I don't have it up there, but I do believe they don't have anything going on this month. But I believe they have a Bennett Park site plan meeting. I want to say it was January 8th.
Okay.
I think that's their.
That's to the west side, right?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, treasurer report.
So first, I just want to apologize. I printed so many papers. I think I forgot to print the 2 ban documents,
got it here.
the resolutions. I know you have them electronic,
Yeah.
but so we'll just have to do it
Okay, fine.
that way. So for treasurer, also another very busy month. As you can see, the bank balances there. That's something. We did get the reserve for fire truck, the SIB of $77,000. So I did transfer that to New York Class. I figured it could just gain some interest before we get the bill. But Dom just asked me if I could cut a check for that. So that is included in the reserve for fire truck.
Okay.
So, or the account in New York Class. So we don't actually have the $349,000 that's posted there. It's actually like closer to $300,000 in reference to the $900,000 truck they want to buy. So just keeping that in mind.
What was that again? You said.
So you said like, oh, we have like $350,000 in there. We really don't, because
How much do
77
we
of that is the SIB. Well, the beginning balance was $270,000
Okay.
before I put the 77,000
I see.
in
Okay,
there.
so it's like 350.
Yeah, so it's $350 now, but
Yeah.
we're going to pay that bill, so we really don't have the 77 in there.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
So I did include that. As far as New York Class, I moved Water Reserve Fund and Sewer Reserve Fund into New York Class again to gain more interest. We discussed that last month.
Mhm.
And then I closed those accounts with Bank of Millbrook. Opened the sidewalk project account and Bennett sewer pump accounts with Bank of Millbrook. It's been like Grant City here, a lot of grant talks. So so working on I actually did submit the first round of reimbursements to the county, and then I'm working on the Bennett Pump House one for
Good.
DASNY.
All right.
And the DASNY one we could submit once a month.
Okay.
So if we incur any fees or
So
whatever.
the DASD is the $250,000.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So working on that one.
Alright.
Did submit to CHIPS the reimbursement for North Ave, Valley Farm, and Reservoir Drive. $108,333. And I confirmed that it was received.
All right, good.
So
So we expect payment then.
yeah, so we should get that in March. And Trustee Contino and I worked very, very hard on the FEMA grant or the FEMA reimbursement. So we'll be getting just under $16,000 for that.
Congratulations to the two of you for that. That's hard work. That's
That was
probably very
painful.
important.
We got some reimbursement for stretches, so
That's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's really good news.
but she
Yeah.
did a great job.
Okay.
No, you both did. I think
Yeah.
it was a lot of work.
For sure. It was teamwork.
Yeah, there was a good chance we weren't getting anything, the way it looked to me, but
Yeah, it went from like, I don't know, you'll get like 4,000 to like, okay, never mind, you'll get 15,000. Or like, okay. Yeah.
It
So,
was a lot of fun.
yeah, we're like,
Yelling and screaming in between.
Well, good job.
why?
Good yelling and screaming.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So, I did tell Tim that I would like to use some of that to kind of update like our meeting stuff here, like better like sound equipment and visuals. So hopefully that will be here. I think they said April. I think that's what they said, April.
I'd like to get it into this month.
Yeah.
What's that?
Hope we can get it.
Yeah.
To check into this month's budget,
All right.
Yeah.
this year's budget.
Yeah.
Don't spend it until you get it, but I mean.
I
you
don't
make
plan
plans
to do
spend
that.
it.
No, I can wait.
Not that I don't trust the government.
Yeah,
You know.
no, I'll wait.
Okay, good.
And then all I have left is those band documents.
All right, let's talk about the bands. So there's two of them.
Yes,
Now, do the trustees have a copy of it?
that's what I said. I
Well, they
didn't
don't have
get
a
a
copy
chance
of
to print them. I thought I had, but I guess
All
I
right,
didn't.
so, Ian, do you want to describe it? I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? Where somebody's
So
just
the-
rolling over.
These are band renewals, bond
Yes.
anticipate. Renewals, the board has to adopt a resolution authorizing the issuance of the renewal bands. One is for $200,000.
Yep.
And the other is for $550,000. They're both for the same project, the improvement and upgrade of the water system, capital improvement plan. So, by motion and second, you need to adopt the resolution, and then by roll call vote.
Okay, any questions
Vote.
about the details here on the board? All right, so again, this is something we gotta do every year. I think this is like year 5.
Yeah.
Year 5. What happened was a wastewater treatment plant, we had a grant from the state through EFC. It covered, I'm gonna say about the same 25%, we could fund the rest of it, and we found ourselves short. And that's where, there's a 10-year, $500,000 bond that we're paying off. I think we're like year 7 or so of that.
Yeah.
And then we had to get these two bands in place to finish the funding. And
Right.
so those are basically waiting to be turned into bonds. And I think the bond payments are gonna last through, I think, 2036, 2037, something like that. Okay. And these are the bonds the bands I was talking about, where the interest rates, which get refreshed every year, came up quite a bit more than we anticipated when we did the budget
Right.
last April.
When does that take place? Wait, for what month out of the year?
When do we pay it?
Well, when does the interest rate get reset?
Actually, whenever we go forward, so within the past month, probably, right?
Yeah. So it will be when we submit the paperwork. And I believe it was 4%. I think that's what it was.
4.25, I think.
Yeah.
It's dated December 17th.
Yeah.
All right, and so they will reset it like within a month before or so.
Yeah.
They'll reset it based on most recent rates.
Yeah.
Well, they committed to the 4.25, right?
Right. So that's what we'll want to
that's gonna be
budget.
the rate.
Yeah. Okay, it's the same rate for each one, right?
Yeah.
From
Both,
515 to
yeah.
200,000. All right, so we got to do each band individually.
Correct, each resolution individual.
All right, so we're going to offer this resolution.
Resolution to approve the $200,000 bond anticipation renewal note. And again, motion in a second, and then roll call.
All right, so I'll make that motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, so can you do a roll call?
Mayor Cosby,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Doro,
Aye.
Trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Trustee Contino, Trustee Murphy.
Aye.
Okay, then we'll do the same thing. Make a motion for the board to approve the $550,000 bond anticipation renewal note for the same water filtration improvement. And can I get a second?
Second.
And a roll call, please.
Mayor Cosby,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Doro,
Aye.
Trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Trustee Contino,
Aye.
Trustee Murphy.
Okay, thank you. All right, next topic on the agenda is the resolution introduction for the STR code.
Mr. Mayor,
Excuse me.
Yes.
do you mind if?
Oh, okay, fine. We'll do that
25?
first. That should be quick.
Please, and thank you.
We have a resolution of introduction to reduce the village-wide speed limit to a maximum of 25 miles an hour. Right now, the village limit is 30 miles an hour with a few exceptions. The exceptions are those roads that we really don't have control over, which are the highways, 343, 44 on the perimeter, as well as the Franklin Avenue, which is State Highway 984P, which is being controlled by DOT, and for which I have requested a reduction in the speed limit to 25 miles per hour between most and I think the Cardinal Hayes, is it? How far did it go up?
You asked
Yeah.
to extend it.
I asked to extend it,
Right.
and what I was told is, if you want to extend it, you have to know they can't redo the work they've already started. They'll consider that after they've decided on the business district. All right. I talked to the same guy that I made the request to, and that's what the response was. But they don't want to restart the activity. They want to do it for what we requested, and they'll come back. If they accept that, then they'll come back and rework it for full. Okay. So anyway, this is a proposal to update the vehicle and traffic code so that the maximum speed limit is 25 miles per hour in the village. Any questions or comments about that?
I think it's a great idea.
Any concerns?
My only concern is that if New York State says no, then we still do this.
Well, actually,
Right.
we're doing it because we don't control Franklin Avenue. So this thing actually, and I think there we need to specify, Ian, we can't change Franklin Avenue.
That's correct. So this is you're only changing the village speed limit on all roads to 25 miles per hour, with the exception of those that are accepted under section 220-34.
Jesus, that looks, oh my God. Anyway, you can read that?
Squint.
So
You guys
Franklin
have
Avenue,
copies of these. You do have copies
oh,
of
you
these.
don't copies of those?
Yes.
So Franklin Avenue, it says 45 miles an hour between, the part coming into the village,
And then a 30-mile-an-hour sign.
and then you have the 30-mile-an-hour sign during business district. This suggests, Ian, that we're changing the business district to 25, which really isn't true.
Okay.
Until the DOT comes back and
Yeah, that's
says,
the way that the code is now. It says 30 with the exception of those streets specified, and that's what it says.
that's okay because that is 30. All I'm saying is the way you read this is, it suggests that within the business district is 25, and that's not true. See what I'm saying?
I think so. I just don't. So
As he said, because of the 30 mile an hour.
yeah. So it is.
Isn't listed in there.
Yeah, so if I
There
read
is a
this,
section of Franklin that's or Franklin is 30.
yeah, between, I want to say the first house on South Millbrook, all the way up to the top of the hill, just over the top of the hill.
Yeah.
It goes back to 45. So that section is 30, it'll stay 30 until DOT says, they'll reduce it.
Yeah.
But right now, it's got to stay 30, all right?
So then we would have to change it.
Yeah.
So what section is that? That's 30? Or how would you describe
It's actually, what you've written right here,
it? Yeah.
between the South Village line to the point 1,000 feet south of Front Street, and between a point 700 feet east of Maple Avenue. And
Yeah.
So between those two sections, it's 30.
So it shouldn't be 45. It should
No. What you have written is right for 45.
Okay.
We need to have a separate line that says what's on Franklin Avenue that's not in those areas
Oh,
is 30. I'll work on the wording, I'll send it to you, okay?
Okay.
So can I still have this resolution of
You
introduction
can.
today?
You could just, as amended.
Okay, so as that planned amendment, I want to make that resolution. Now, any questions or comments from the audience? Okay, with that, then I want to, let's see, make the motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, that we accept this resolution of introduction to change the maximum village speed limit, except in the areas noted, to 25 miles an hour.
this include 9 partners?
Yes. Okay. Okay, based on that, then, for this resolution introduction, can I get a roll call?
Mayor Cosby,
Aye.
Trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Trustee Cantino,
Aye.
Trustee Doro,
Aye.
Trustee Murphy.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Officer Whip.
Thank you.
Let's go to the STR code. Now, Deputy Mayor's done a lot of work here to dot i's and cross t's on the resolution, including discussions you had with the building code enforcement officer. Any updates from what was presented last month?
I believe the only really any substantive updates from last time were from Ken. So,
Meaning the
particular kinds of fire extinguishers, the life safety code being his regulatory sort of handbook. That's noted in the law. Couple other minor kind of safety and building code type concerns. And I guess we also did add, I don't remember the timing now, Dutchess County Planning had a few comments in regards to certain sections being added concerning penalties and various other sort of operational sections that we added at the end. So those have been added as well. Dutchess County recommended that we look at a certain municipality, and we looked at that, and we fit those particular sections into the law, which will make enforcement as well as if there's any legal challenges down the road, it'll make it a stronger law. But in terms of like the bones of the STR law, that is not changed.
Okay, and the criteria, all those elements.
Criteria, amount of permits.
Years for the permit, cost for the permit. Okay. So to the board, any questions or comments about the proposal? This is a resolution for introduction, at which point we would announce a public hearing for January. But first off, from the board, any questions or comments?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, anybody else?
I'm fine as well.
No? Any questions or comments from the public regarding this resolution introduction?
Not a comment or it's sort of like a question, I guess, not a comment. On section 4, it says all other ordinances or local laws of the village of Millbrook which are in conflict with the provisions of this local law are hereby suspended or repealed to the extent necessary to give this local law full force and effect during its period. I just wondered what you had in mind and other laws that were in conflict with this.
So that was one of the sections that Dutchess County suggested. It's sort of a legal catch-all. There wasn't anything in particular in mind. It was just a section that if there is something kind of hidden deep in there that would, negate anything in the STR law, that's no longer in effect.
So this came from the county, what you're saying, because the town had the same sort of thing, and they revised that to say that the other laws in the district are not superseded by the STRs. That came up at the town.
I recall that. I don't think there's anything in the village code right now that speaks to regulation of STRs, so it's sort of like a non-issue in my mind. It was something that was in this particular municipalities, and again, it's like a legal catch-all. If there was something that nobody knows about that would negate the STR law, that would not be in effect.
Yeah, but what they wanted in the town was not to change the districts that existed to make this fit in. They wanted them to fit into the district. And so this is a county recommendation.
It's one of them.
So apparently the town even didn't get it, ignored.
I don't know. We don't have our law doesn't pertain to certain districts, so we're not discriminating for or against residential or of the business district. This applies.
If I live in a place that law says this, and this, and then now this comes in, and the law that I'm living under now no longer applies, and this supersedes, didn't go along well with most of the residents in the town that were at the hearing. that was my question, this came from the county.
That's where you heard it from, yeah. Likewise, section 3, the serviceability, that sounds like a standard thing where if you're ever found to be in conflict, if a court finds a certain portion of it to be
Correct.
right, and the rest of it is still in force.
Maria?
Section 3,
Yeah, it's just.
section 3 and section 4 sound very similar.
Yeah, kind of, but it's just cautionary language.
Yeah, okay.
In the event that a court were to strike down a portion of it, that
the rest of
the
it's still
intent
intact.
is that
Okay.
the remainder or the balance of the law would remain
Okay.
intact.
And that was also in that municipalities that this county recommended.
Yeah, all right, fine. That was good. Any other questions or comments from the public? Yes,
Just a quick question.
you're gonna come forward so we can hear you?
I'm sorry. Just a quick question. If it's voted into effect today and the town has public hearing, for the public commentary in January, what effect does the public commentary then have on the vote today? Like if it votes in as what's
The
written
vote today
here.
is simply to introduce the resolution and announce a public hearing. There's no,
Okay.
so you have not legislated anything today.
So this happens today, then there's public comment, and then there is a final vote when?
Possibly in January,
Okay, depending upon the.
upon the
public-
feedback from the public and the board's perception. So the board will decide,
Okay.
and they will take public comment,
Mhm.
and after the public comment, we'll decide if there's a sufficient motivation to vote there.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So it could possibly, depending on public comment, drag on into February
And
or
my
beyond?
hope is that we can resolve it in January. That would be my intention.
No, I know you guys have been working hard on it. I'm
Yeah.
just curious as to, the steps.
That's the way it
involved.
works. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay? All right, so then I want to, why don't you introduce the resolution?
I will make that motion.
Okay, any second?
I'll second.
Okay, let's do a roll call.
Mayor Cosby,
Aye.
Trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Trustee Contino,
Aye.
Trustee Doro,
Aye.
and Trustee Murphy.
Okay, good. And this resolution announces a public hearing for the January meeting on January 10th.
I just want to say quickly,
Yes.
thank you for everyone on the board's help, especially the mayor. He's been very helpful. Sarah, Ken, various members of the public, everyone for coming, speaking out for or against or whatever, neutral on these things. It's been all very helpful, I think, in building the broadest consensus possible law that,
Yeah.
made most people happy.
Mhm.
Never going to please everybody,
Right.
but I think we got there after a lot of hard work.
And
So
thank you for
much appreciated.
working on all the ups and downs in between. Very well done. Okay, but we're not done yet. Okay, next topic is the sidewalk project. Mike, want to give us an update there?
Sure. The sidewalk project, phase 1 and phase 2 of the sidewalk project are complete with 2 exceptions. The ramp area by the alpaca store was not done because an electrical box owned by Optimum is in need of replacement and or may need to be moved. The work needs to be completed before the ramp area is replaced, because it's right in the middle of the ramp, and it's probably gonna have to get moved. The mayor has been working with Optimum to make sure that they stay on this project and we can get timely repairs, either in conjunction with SunUp to finish it or separately, so that it gets done.
And by the way, I did find someone who's willing to step up and find out where the project is at and drive it to the completion.
Okay.
Great news, I just found somebody in the contract we have with Optimum for village services. I started calling there, and the third guy I called said, I don't work for them anymore, but I can help you out.
Nice.
And then he got me a name of a guy who actually is committed, so it worked very well. Yeah.
Teamwork, thank you.
Yeah, so they actually came through. So far, anyway, we're not done yet, but I'm encouraged.
It's in hand.
And the village has gotten an extension from the county in order to finish the project, but we do need to get the last thing done there, which is to get the ramp done and to replace the 5 trees that were taken out with new trees by June 1st of 2024. And in relation to the 5 trees that were removed will be there are now planting areas that are on there, and I have at least one bid in so far for 5 trees that we could replace them with and locations, and I told that to the mayor this past week, and we'll be getting some more bids as time goes on, and that should be done in either April or May. And all the I have, for anyone's interest, I have the names of the trees and where they're going to go, but all of them came with recommendation on 2 separate certified arborists and the Shade Tree Commission.
I think we're all settled on the trees. The question is, when you talk to the arborist, what is the biggest size tree that you can put in those holes? Did you got any
Basically, I told him I wanted it to be, he said we could get, in all the cases, about a 10-foot tree with a 2.5 to 3 inch caliber.
Okay.
You know, depending on the species of tree, they'll grow hopefully 1 to 2 feet per year, every year, so that, you know, in a very reasonable amount of time, you'll have shade immediately, so and then it'll get better as they grow.
Okay, fine. All right, good. Any questions for Mike?
We have to coordinate that light pole also.
Yes, and we had.
That'll be with the fix of the finish of the concrete. Yeah, as part of pouring the concrete in front of the pharmacy in Huger's Place, the lamp there stopped working. We suspect it's because of a wire that may have been adjusted in the concrete. So we'll have them cut that out, fix the wire, and put it back once they come to finish the corner of front and Franklin. Yep, okay.
All right, that's it.
All right. Next, I want to talk about the landfill. Deputy Mayor and I met with Bob.
There was a question back
Yes,
there.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, yes.
I'm sorry, just since you're on the subject, it seems half of your problem that you decided to do the sidewalks for was because of the way the roots grow. Are you going to be looking into, because most fast-growing trees are also things like locusts that grow a lot of lateral roots as opposed to like a deep taproot that doesn't disturb as much. So I'm assuming you're going to put like thought into not getting something like a locust that tends to travel a lot of taproots out to the side.
The 3 species we've chosen for the locations are an elm hybrid, a cultivar known as the Princeton, so it'll be an elm hybrid which is resistant to Dutch elm disease, but those trees have been used in residential, it should be in urban settings for over 100 years, so that should be fine. Red maple trees, the cultivar called the Sunset, which is also good central taproot and not a major problem. And the third one was a Japanese Zelkova going in front of the China Tokyo storefront, and all 3 of them are on the list of salt tolerant, of alkaline friendly, and all recommended for urban planting by DEC and by the local arborists. So
The ginkgo would probably work too.
the ginkgo could work, and
Yeah.
we do have a ginkgo tree in front of
Just make sure it's not a female.
Wayland's agency, but it's barely grown a few feet, and it's a very slow growing tree, so you're not going to get the shade that you want as a result. It's an excellent tree, and if you go into New York City, into the Battery area, you'll see ginkgos all over the place, but they've been there for 50 to 100 years.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. I want to talk about the landfill. We had a request from Tim Race, whether he could use the landfill, actually purchase it from the village to use for business opportunity he sees. And so what I'm proposing, actually working with the deputy mayor as well as Ian in a discussion with, that we would sell the property to him as is for the maximum amount of either the assessed value, which is only $8,500, or any village incurred legal fees in making that deal. As long as there was a commitment from the buyer to conform to all DEC stipulations, which we have to get documented, and a commitment to accept all leaves and brush for composting and either chipping or burning, and a commitment not to sell the property for the next 10 years. Is that a legitimate request I can make or not? And finally, an approval by the DEC.
Yeah, you can make the request. We talked about this.
10-year thing.
Talked on the phone. anything is gonna have to be contingent on DEC approval
Okay.
of what's gonna be done on the site. You can put that restriction, you probably could put it in the deed.
Okay,
So, depending on how you want it to work, you could put something like what's called a reverter, where
oh jeez,
if,
oh God.
you know, that,
Probably murdered. Oh my God.
Please, no.
well, that if he were to offer.
The Thornbill had a reverter clause
Yes.
in
Yeah.
1895 and
So if
We'll live in
it were sold to somebody else, it would revert back to the village, something like that.
we don't want it back.
Um,
Anyway.
Well, or you could just, I'd have to think it through, you could put that restriction in the deed that it not be sold for 10 years. You know, what would you do if it were breached? You know, you could sue him then. I don't know that the village wants to have to
I know.
do that.
All right, well, let's think about it. Any
Yeah.
questions from the, or concerns from the board? Because the next step would be to contact DEC, get them to document the requirements, and let them know what our plan is, to see what they say about it. Any questions or comments?
I think the one in here about the commitment to accept our leaves and brush for composting for the next 10 years is great. That means we're not gonna have to worry about coming up with some other alternative.
Yeah, right. Plus, it's closer than Hitchcock is, so it actually would save us some. All right. All right, so based on that, I'll contact DEC and say, here's what we plan to do, and ask them what kind of commitments or conditions they have. All right. Public comments. Mayor Doro, anything else to add?
I think so.
No? Trustee Herzog?
No, I'm good.
Trustee Murphy?
Nope.
Well, just tell us an update on the,
Update on the steps, the village hall steps.
Yep.
Seems like Bob's Anselli started it, and he's been going at it. I think he's gonna pour this Friday, you said?
Yep,
All right.
that's the hopes to.
Yeah. It's going good. No issues that I'm aware of that he's
No.
contacting me about,
Going
so
well.
it's good.
Yeah, had both the clerk and deputy clerk about walk out on me when the jackhammer went in day two.
Need some headphones or something.
I don't know if they make them that good. It was pretty
No
impressive, I gotta tell you. Anyway, okay, good, thanks. Trustee Cantino.
I have nothing.
All right. Any other comments from the audience? With that, then, I'll make a motion that we close the general meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're now going to go into executive session. We've got some topics to talk about, and when we come back out, we will simply close the meeting. So I would recommend the rest of you can have the evening off.
So, Tim, what you should do is move to go into executive session. You're supposed to give a reason. What you can do is
Okay.
say for personnel or to.
Yeah.
You can
So I'll make a
only
motion
say
to
that-
go into executive session. Give me a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye for the purpose of personnel issues. The first item on the agenda in the executive session is a bathroom break. And then we're going to go downstairs to Dobbs' office.
Okay.